Welcome back to another cinematic report. This is part 2 of OnlyFleets versus Phoenix Coalition. Last time we looked at an alliance under pressure, fractured internally, while facing an external war that couldn't be ignored. We have hundreds of capitals on grid, an alliance ready to defend, and thousands watching. So settle in as we dive right into it, because this is Warlock Industries, providing cinematic battles and mildly accurate reporting straight from the front line. Following days of Fortizar deployments and unanswered signals, OnlyFleets and their supporters arrive in force, flooding the grid with hundreds of capitals and a clear intention to use every one of them. Phoenix Coalition, fully aware of what was coming, spent the days prior preparing. Mass pings echoed, fleets were formed, capitals readied themselves for what was advertised as a decisive stand. But as with most large-scale battles, it began with a lot of words and very little action. Because nothing in New Eden is harder to kill than a fleet sitting comfortably on tether. While the alliances exchanged opinions and waited for mistakes, OnlyFleets settled on a bold and innovative strategy, releasing drones to attack the Keepstar. Phoenix Coalition responded by repositioning their fleets to deal with the drones, and in doing so, made a critical mistake. By engaging, they broke tether. That window was all OnlyFleets and their allies needed. Fleets warped in, guns came online, and the fight finally began. At first, it looked promising. Missiles streaked across the sky as the snow-covered system lit up with explosions. Capitals hovered overhead, waiting for their moment. Expectations were high, but reality was less exciting. What was supposed to be a massive brawl stretched into a 5-hour slugfest of cautious commitments and mild action. Only a handful of capitals died, including a Thanatos that made a career-ending mistake and was promptly erased by the Keepstar itself. I spent most of the fight disguised as a revelation, sitting on grid and hoping something dramatic would happen. But it did not. Eventually, the Keepstar hit its timer. Ships disengaged. As OnlyFleets warped off, Phoenix Coalition managed a final sucker punch, catching stragglers as they attempted to mop up remaining Ravens. Soon after, the fight became stagnant, and the field became quiet once again. With the Fortizars defended, dreadnoughts safely docked, and OnlyFleets withdrawing from the system, all sides now wait for the next phase. One that we can only hope brings a fight larger and more decisive than what came before. Because while Phoenix Coalition has labeled this system non-strategic, history has heard that phrase before. Pandemic Horde once said the same thing, shortly before fizzling out into an alliance that no longer exists, becoming nothing more than a staple of examples. move into the final portion of this segment, let's take a moment to highlight what the wider community has been up to across New Eden. First up, Eve Switcher, a tool that lets pilots multi-box across Linux, perfect for anyone flying an unreasonable number of characters at the same time and pretending it's still manageable. Next we have Theory Crafter, a handy tool for pilots who like to prepare properly, allowing you to specify incoming damage types and fine-tune fits for very specific and very painful scenarios. We also saw a pilot release a time-lapse of the Sovereignty map, offering a clear look at how political control across the cluster has shifted over time, for anyone who enjoys watching borders move without undocking. In the Dronelands, a battle report surfaced showing Brotherhood of Spacers losing nearly 300 billion in capitals, as Minmatar Fleet Alliance and Deepwater hooligans clashed in yet another reminder that capital safety is, at best, temporary. On the creative side, one pilot decided that if Titans are going to collect dust, they might as well do it properly by recreating them as physical models. CCP also released their latest monthly reports, which many feel leave a bit to be desired. But if there's one thing this community excels at, it's turning spreadsheets into spectacle, so perhaps a cinematic breakdown is in order. And finally, back in the Dronelands, Goon Swarm continue fighting it out, jumping on capitals against Fraternity while simultaneously brawling with Test, proving once again that no region ever stays quiet for long. As OnlyFleets and the Phoenix Coalition continue to grind each other down on one side of the cluster, another dilemma ignites on the opposite end. The Dronelands were glassed, left behind with promises of renewal. Smaller alliances were encouraged to move in and thrive with a simple rule: no big block is allowed. The Imperium made its position clear. Any large group threatening this new order would be answered. Test Alliance, carrying a long and complicated history, chose to test that promise, trading blows with Goon Swarm while dropping structures of their own. When wars begin to line up like this, escalation is no longer a question. It's a schedule. And when that moment arrives, there's only one thing left to do: clean the lens and record everything.